Welcome back to Crypto Fitness. I am Jay Hexcobar, a pure Hexcobar, and I'm going to be streaming the Telegram chat again this evening. If you have any questions about Pulse Chain, PulseX, or Hex, feel free to ask in the comments, or obviously you can join the PulseX Telegram chat and you can get answers there as well. It's very, very lively chat. So all right, let's go ahead and join this.
Per point, when you divide it by the numbers, and if you paid $2 per 10,000, then everyone who got in at the first few days got a better rate. So by the time you 10x, those people would be 20x. So you can speculate how many X's you want to aim for, but you have to realize there'll be a lot of people, a lot of whales that would be much more X's than you. So you'd have to be eating a lot of red candles on the way there. A lot.
100%, yeah.
The whales aren't. I mean, everyone's getting the same X's except for the bonus sort of multiplier, right? So, I mean, I think most people probably aren't at the front of the line. So it's not a real, most people are probably close to 10,000 X times their dollar value in terms of points. They're probably close to that, around there, is what I'm saying.
I agree.
I mean, if you put in, $1,000 and you multiply it by 10,000, and then you multiply that by the price of Pulse, that's where you're at. That's your X. The X is not the 10,000 X. It's the X versus where you started in terms of your dollar value in versus where it's valued when you sort of want to cash it out or decide what it's worth. I mean, everyone gets the X's on the way in terms of the multiplier. Some get a better one than others, of course.
Yeah, because he's offering everybody 10,000x right off the bat.
People in the front of the line with the biggest sacks get the biggest, bonuses on top of those, X's. So, but those are pretty huge accounts. I think most people are probably in the 10,000 X range in terms of just converting it to points. They're right around there. Most people, maybe a little less, a little more.
Who said they felt safe? I was gonna make them feel safer.
Sorry, just a quick one. When you say 10,000x, is it by 10,000x by launch, or have we got a duration here? Say 1 year, 2 years. So clarity there.
There's two different X's, I think, that we're talking about here. Which one are you talking about, E-Money? Are you talking about the return?
Return. Yeah, I just dialed in, because I've been hearing the X's and 10,000 X's. So I'm just wondering whether it's just a duration, say 2 years, or are we talking about from launch, from those that have sacrificed to launch?
I mean, well, the answer is no one knows anything. But
so how would you calculate, let's say, 70 million, let's say for instance 70 million tokens? How would you be able to calculate that, or what would the number be for that?
Points?
Yeah, so let's 70 million points, let's say, how it says you get this much points for the sacrifice you made. You check the chart and it gives you a number, So let's say, for example, let's just say 70 million points you have received, or is it tokens or points? Points, I think. So how would you calculate that? How much would that start off with? You know?
Well, I mean, if you want to calculate your basis, is that what you're saying? Like your cost in? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. So your cost in, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, well, the only way to really figure that out is just to take, I mean, how much money, what was the value of what you sacrificed on the day you sacrificed it? That's sort of your basis, right? Because that's how much money you put in.
Oh, okay. So it's calculated by that. Let's say like
Well,
$20,000.
it's not calculated. Like you have to sort of calculate it yourself. I mean, you know, there's no, right. So, you know, you took some value and you put it into the sacrifice. Well, from your point of view, the cost of your sack was the US dollar price, I guess. I mean, it doesn't have to be. And maybe you sacrifice euros but it's whatever it cost you to get in. I mean, that's your basis to get in, right?
Yeah, so
It's 3 zeros and 2 8, Izzy. Izzy Montana, your cost basis would be 3 zeros and 2 8.
Ah, okay, sweet.
Was 20 grand that you put in.
Yeah, let's say $20,000. You know, at $2. That's the calculation I can't make, bro.
20 grand that you put in divided by 70
Depends,
million.
it depends when
That's
you
your number.
sacked, you know. It depends when you sacked too, what the multiplier was.
Yeah,
So-
the multiplier $2 per 10,000, so I think it's half the rate. You know, so
So that's
5,000 per.
100 million.
It's about like 70, 80 million, something like that.
It'd be about 100 million if you were at
Sounds-
$2.
that sounds about right,
you
yeah.
sacrificed
Okay.
20,000.
But
So if
it was
you-
20,000 Australian dollars, so it's calculated a little bit less.
Gotcha. Okay.
Again, this is where it all sort of, everybody's got their own sort of, everyone's walking in from a different place, but I mean, all you care about is what you actually put in yourself, right? From your own point of view. That's your basis in your mind,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Now, the weird thing is that's not, they're actually worth nothing when you get them, but that's another layer. But yeah, like you're not getting an asset that's going to be taxed when you get it at that rate. So you're not. That's another little layer here.
Love me some of that market cipher, whoever's screen that is.
It's not worth anything.
Yes, it starts with worth zero. You're sacrificing. You're not buying something.
So when they say sacrificing, not buying something, when you make that 10,000x and you cash out into your bank, that's taxable, right? If we do get tokens, obviously this is a sacrifice. Well, you know, it's based on points at this moment of time. But if it becomes something tangible, nobody knows because we're all sacrificing. Is it going to be taxed? Is anything going to be taxed?
You have to check with your local accountant and jurisdiction. It's up to you.
Yeah, you could move to Puerto Rico and you wouldn't have any capital gains tax.
Fuck the tax shit, man. Don't pay no tax. Get away with your money.
You could go and donate money to the Cayman Islands.
But to be clear, the
You know.
difference between
Hey
The
guys,
difference
this
between
chat's
something and
recorded. Hey,
sacrificing.
hey, this chat's recorded. You can't talk about tax in here at all. You can't talk about any taxes.
Also, everything that was said was a joke. Just letting everyone know.
Can I ask you guys a question? The DeFi wallet, the Crypto.com DeFi wallet, it's a non-custodial wallet. My friend sacrificed. He sent some money from that wallet. Will that be? Is that good, or did he not? Should he just use MetaMask? Can any non-custodial wallet be used to sacrifice from?
It should be okay if you follow the steps. If you can't change the RPC settings at launch on that wallet to see Pulse Chain, to point it towards the Pulse Chain network, then he'd just have to migrate the seeds, preferably into a hardware wallet, and then connect that to a MetaMask extension.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That way, yeah, all good.
Okay,
Excuse
awesome.
me, guys. I've got a quick question. Well, it's going back to what you guys were talking about earlier on about the X's. Can we just simple it down, because I know there's a lot of different ways to look at it. But say, for example, you had $1,000 US dollars on the sacrifice, and you got, for like $1 you got 10,000 points, and you got 10,000 X. Forget about the multipliers and all that kind of stuff. What kind of return would you get?
$10,000 for $1.
I mean, if you have $1, you put, say, for example, you put $1,000 at 10,000 in the first 5 days.
$10,000.
Yeah, your cost per point. Yeah, your cost per point would break down to 0.0001. So 10,000 times that would be $1, as Disu said.
Right. Okay. So what would be a dollar return on that if you got 10,000 X from £1,000, $1,000?
10 million.
10 million.
That would be 10 million.
1,000 times 10,000 is 10 million.
For real.
That's 1,000 times 10,000 is 10 million. Yeah, that's 10 million. Okay, that clears things up a bit. Okay,
Really close.
Not bad.
and that's without the multipliers and everything as well.
The dumbed down basic version, working it out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what people need to hear, because I think when you go into 0.00, it doesn't calculate in people's brain. But if you put £1,000, $1,000 US dollars, and a 10,000 X from whatever price it starts at, you would get 10 million.
There's a big reality check to that. So we don't want to grow expectation of any sort of profit. And let's say it does, if we speculate that, the journey there are people in Wales and sack pools and all that, where they have paid a lot less per point, and they will be there earlier than you, and you'd have to eat a lot of red candles on the way there, and then you'd have to stomach those red candles. You'd have to go through those 85% corrections, and if you survive long enough, then maybe you get there, if the price decides to go that way.
Right.
Yeah, that's
basically.
It's a long journey, man. It's a long journey.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get clarity on. This is a long journey. It's not from now to launch. We're talking about a duration here. It's a journey.
Yeah, this could be talking years. We could be talking years.
Also, I think that there's a confusion between
violent dips.
Yeah, definitely.
By the time you get 10,000x,
confusion
the whales
between
will
the
have
10,000
25,000.
the 10,000x on the sacrifice in terms of units or points versus the 10,000x of a return on those points in the future. They're not the same. Just because you get, all these points and all these coins doesn't mean you've made any return at all. You've made no return. The only return you make is when those points then grow in value and you can cash them out later.
Yes.
I think somehow there's some confusion about this. Okay.
No, I understood that perfectly. You start with 10,000 points, which start at 0 from $1. Is that correct? If you put $1 in at the beginning of the sacrifice, you get 10,000 points, each worth 10. Each worth absolutely 0.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, but for you, there were.
And then you got to
if you
watch
want
it.
to calculate your return, you did put in $1, so that's your cost to start.
Right.
And yeah, they may be worth
0.0001
0.0001 per point, and that's where you go forward from in your mind. I mean, right? Does that make sense? I mean, because there's a unit conversion there that occurs because that's how the
because you had to pay that dollar up front.
Yeah.
You had to sacrifice that dollar, which is your cost. I understand. Yeah, I totally agree with that. There's going to be a lot of violent dips, and people will be panicking. It could go up really high, and people wanted to cash out, and then it can dip 95%. And are you going to be able to hold on? So this is the price you pay for this kind of this game.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the dips, man. When the time comes, you know, I don't want it to go parabolic. I don't want it to go too high. I want it to be organic. You know, that's how I see it.
The best part about the best part about
I would just like a nice. I would like a nice little stairway up and up and to the left, up and to the left. That'd be really up and to the right. Sorry, up and to the right. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're not going to get that. There's going to be some serious dips and shake out a lot of people, and I just hope I can stomach those because I've never been through it before yet.
I think you'll be able to pick up PulseX after the launch, probably at the same rate, if not cheaper, the way things are going to go in the beginning.
The best part about this is if you don't look at the X's or the value or whatever, the return, if you look at it in days, so most of us got in at day 0. Now you compare that to what the price might be at day 150. You still got in at a better day, at a better rate. You compare it to day 300, day 450, day 600. You're in day 0. You're in probably the best time to get involved with the product, whatever it is. Sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't trade yourself out of this position. You're in a great spot. No matter which exact position you're in, it's good. You're super. I mean, how much earlier can you be?
That's true.
My strategy is I'm not looking to sell any PLX for before a year and a half. That's my strategy.
Probably a good idea. Holders get rich.
It's really just pay position too, though.
I think a lot of people are like really underestimating the power of like the ecosystem that Richard's creating. Like, I mean, I feel like if people really understood like what this actually means in the long run, like people wouldn't really care so much about price action in the beginning. Like this is a long game.
It's going to allow mass adoption for people that, you know, they got $500, they want to put it in. They put it in through Ethereum right now. They're left with $250. And the price has got to double for them to get their money back, whereas this takes all that out of the equation.
I mean, if you just think about the NFT ecosystem alone, like a lot of people don't trade NFTs or don't get into NFTs because Ethereum gas is just so ridiculous. If you even have like a small percentage of Ethereum traders or like NFT traders or people that want to get into NFTs that just feel like they can't because of gas fees, and are now able to because of the Pulse chain, because the fees are just going to be non-existent. I mean, that alone is going to bring a massive amount of people in, and that's not even bringing in like DeFi, the amount of like DeFi applications you can make, and the yield farming opportunities on PulseX. So like in the long grand scheme of things, I mean, it's like quite unfathomable the potential that this has.
Hey guys,
on that topic.
Yeah, guys, can I ask a question on say Post chain and Polygon? Because Polygon is supposed to be quite a fast chain as well. So what's the main sort of advantage of say Post chain over Polygon?
Polygon's a layer 2.
Yeah.
It's empty.
It's also not a copy of the state of Ethereum. It's the biggest drop ever, which is very different. I mean, just as that one point, but
yeah, sorry, I missed that. My
to try to get you,
I didn't get what you said this way, but
Polygon is a different chain, right? And so they want to get users over on their chain, which is fine. I mean, that's great. But Pulse Chain is a fork of the entire Ethereum network. Okay. And so all the people that have coins on Ethereum will now have ERC20s, called PRC20s on Pulse Chain. It's a huge thing.
Okay,
it's sort of a
I understand, but I mean, I understand that Pulse Chain is also an EVM like Polygon. So I mean, could Pulse Chain survive in a way then by itself? Suppose Ethereum completely disappeared, could Pulse Chain just go off on its own? I'm not,
from the day it forks.
Okay. So basically, there's going to be no dependency whatsoever on the Ethereum chain, as a master chain, in that sense.
I guess there's some, I mean, of course, if it just disappeared, it'd be a problem because there'd be no liquidity pools back and forth.
Yeah.
But it'll run. Okay. It'll run on its own.
Okay, sure.
It works.
It's just absolutely because I've heard quite a bit as well about Polygon. It's also very fast, very cheap. So I'm just wondering, okay, in the same sense, Pulse Chain is also very fast, very cheap. So I'm just trying to wonder, what's the bigger advantage of Pulse Chain over Polygon? Why would people want to go to Pulse Chain and not to Polygon? That's I think that's the question I'm asking. In that direction.
Polygon's not an L1 by itself, mate. The comparison to Polygon is not really a good example.
I can't. I'm just talking as a layman. I mean, obviously, I don't know as much detail as you guys do about all the ins and outs of all the various chains, how they function.
Well, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Matic. I don't think Matic has like a DeFi protocol in it. I think like it's mainly like a lot of like gamers and NFT projects go on Matic. I'm not quite sure if it can do like DeFi applications. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure that's what Ethereum does instead.
Polygon's an L2, like it's
exactly.
a side chain that's supposed to have the scalability of all EVMs. Like Polygon, in a sense, could help Pulse Chain once it's up and running. It's a scalability solution. There's a big problem with all blockchains, which is scalability. So people have been working on this for a long time. This is what ETH 2.0 was all about. This is why there is a need for Pulse Chain in the first place with the cost of gas and stuff. And Polygon it's not really an L1 of its own. So yeah, to make a direct comparison, it's not the right thing.
And so to answer the question, like Pulse Chain's will have DeFi on it as well as like NFTs. So it's everything.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, Pulse Chain is more powerful.
I think just to
simple words. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Can I add to that also? It's one of the, for a layman, because I class myself as a layman also, is with Pulse Chain, they're going to copy all the coins, all the wallets, all the programs, all the applications, everything is going to be copied from Ethereum onto Pulse Chain. And all the person has to do is just change the settings from Ethereum to Pulse Chain, and all the coins will work, all their apps will work, everything, providing, so it's a complete copy of Ethereum.
So basically, because Pulse Chain is level 1, you can do that. Polygon can't do that because it's level 2. Are we saying that? So Polygon comes in at a bit of a higher level. So we can't do all the level of functions which Pulse Chain can. Yeah, I follow that now. You understand?
Yeah.
Either way, you're late on Polygon as the coin. You're late. Yeah. So like right now, you're the beginning of something new and better.
Yeah. And I mean, JB, just a question of to understand the differences.
Even your seed words and keys will work on, like it's literally a system state copy on a new chain. So your exact same seed words from Ethereum stuff will work on Pulse Chain. You have to do nothing. That's a pretty incredible concept, really.
Yeah. So presumably this is the first time a level 1 copy is being made of the Ethereum chain.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Copying a chain this large this way.
Yeah, that's it. So it's the first level 1 copy over to a new chain from Ethereum. Yeah, I got it now. Thank you very much.
A full system state copy.
On Ethereum, the computer programmers, they can just copy paste their Solidity is called the language, the code, and it will just work. It will just work in all their front ends and everything, and anything new. It will just work on Pulse chain or Polygon. Like you cannot stake hex on Polygon, right? It's wrapped. So there's differences. Plus, it's launching full of coins, and Polygon launched empty.
Yeah, fair enough. Thanks. Yeah, I've understood. Okay, thank you. Cheers.
And Polygon has admin keys. You want to stay away from that. They can just take funds.
Yeah. I've heard about that dreaded word, admin keys. Avoid them if you can. With the swap happening. Yeah. Okay. So from that analysis, maybe Matic is not a good coin to move into for the swap. And as a ERC20, maybe pick something else. Obviously, if you take Matic as one of the coins to move into, and if the admins decide to pull the plug, then that means you will be able to swap your Matics for PLS, on that basis.
But guys, what did you guys find out about tokens that have admin keys? Is there a website that one can check?
Well, pretty much most of them. It just means they could change the code or roll it back. Not just tokens, but like whole blockchains. In fact, they forked ETH so that from the Ethereum Classic is the original, because they had a problem. Like, it just depends what you're talking about when it comes to admin keys. Bridges have to have admin keys, for example. There is no way around it.
Yeah, because I've been hearing a lot of discussion about tokens that have admin keys. If they do have admin keys, they have control, and they might decide not to copy across to Pulse chain, because it's their decision, isn't it? I mean, it's not Richard Hart and his project to decide on what copies across. Because they
get to stop the copying. No, they don't get to stop the copying. When the chain is forked, those tokens will be forked with it. That is entirely in the hands of Richard's teams. What you're talking about is whether or not the admin keys are used to essentially nuke the token so that they have no connection to the main project on the Ethereum chain.
Yeah.
Don't admin keys copy over to the Pulse chain as well, so they have sort of admin keys on both sides after the copy. Is that right? It must be, right?
It's sort of like that, but I don't know that this has really been done like this before, where they've had to essentially have admin keys to be used for this type of scenario. So I think it's a big question, and I don't think anybody's ever had a clear answer on it. And
I do think that
the idea that all admin
over.
keys are equal. Yeah, I don't think all admin keys are equal. So what might be coded into USDC, for example, where they're very clear cut about not wanting their coin to be counterfeited, if you want to call it that, and they have it stated very clearly that if it ever is, they will not be they won't accept that or allow it. And that type of admin key would be what we're talking about, where you nuke it when it comes over to Pulse, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because if USDC all of a sudden had to back a doubling of their own supply, they can't do that. They've got no way of doing that. You can't have another dollar for every dollar. So there's different types of admin keys in different scenarios for different chains. It's whether they want to come across and adopt.
Can you say something? I mean, but obviously once the copy has been made, I mean, we really don't care. We don't really care about this side. We're more concerned about the other side. What's to stop you from changing your ERC, whichever you get, to say to Pulse? I mean, could they stop that? You doing that, or it's just I'm very uncertain there. I mean, I can understand that.
Yes, they can make the tokens inoperable. That's how they freeze like USDC and USDT, like hack
No, but
big hackers.
so basically on that basis, I mean, I think as the one of the guys asked, you know, I mean, will there be admin keys on the other side as well, which they have access to?
Yeah, the
or
keys.
we don't know.
You keep your keys, just like you keep your wallet keys. Your wallet, you can, you know, just the same way. It's just the code to their token, their smart contract has the ability for certain key holders to change stuff.
Okay, so basically the keys on this side will also work on the other side. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's an exact
so,
copy.
so it's the same key. So basically, if they want to, they can go to the Pulse chain and they can stop anybody changing over their tokens on the Pulse chain to PLS.
Correct. It can stop you from using your tokens, USDC.
Yeah. No. I mean, I understand they could. Well, I mean, they can stop from the bridge. I can understand that, but what I'm saying is, once the copy has been made over, so he says, you know, you've now got the snapshot, then can they then go into the Pulse chain with the keys, with their admin keys of the Ethereum side, go over and then stop you from doing anything with those ERCs?
It's likely, yes.
They can do that. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Not just they can, they explicitly state that they will.
They will. Okay. Well, okay. So if that's the case, then obviously we need to find some ERCs with no admin keys. But I think there aren't that many there. So yeah. Okay,
just while we're on this,
yeah.
While we're on this, why is USDC and some of these other big stables? It's been discussed that, you know, they may not want to, or they might want to restrict their, you know, place on the Pulse chain. Why would they want to? What's the motivation for them to do that? What's the point?
The United States government not want someone to counterfeit $100 bills. It's the same reason that the government doesn't want you to counterfeit the $100 bills.
Yeah, they will issue. They can issue a new contract, like if you look on Etherscan or Matic Scan, whatever, or Coin Market Crap, you look at the Matic, you can see it has different contracts on different chains. So they issue, or not Matic, but USDC, you can check on every chain, and the contract is different. You want you copy paste in your MetaMask to see. But on Pulse chain is the copy paste is the same contract from ETH. You're just stealing it basically, right? So copy paste.
They sort of don't want to, you know, dilute their stablecoin stack. Is that the point?
Taking a printer scanner, scanning your USD bill, and making a copy of the same serial.
Got it.
Every USD coin
that might
serial number.
That might be a bad choice in the long term, though. But we'll see, I guess.
Can I just add a point?
As long as it's a conscious decision. What's up, 19?
Yeah, it's just how ironic it is that the government do not want to copy their USD, their US dollars, and when they've been money printing these
but why would you want
fiat dollars
USDC
into oblivion, you know, and they don't want to copy a 1-to-1, but they want to copy like 4 trillion in a year or something. It's just insane.
No, if they do it themselves, it's just a funny game. I think, yeah, they're happy with that one.
Yeah. Just to be clear, the USDC is not the US dollar. It's not related to the government at all. It's just a stable coin. You know, it's got nothing to do with the US government. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bridge.
Talking about money printed over.
They lock up. They basically lock up real dollars, backing up. It's a bridge from real world to USDC stable. What makes it stable? It's a bridge, basically. Like they just back them up with USD 1-to-1, USDT back with this other stuff, supposedly. Yeah, but you gotta be careful because even DAI is halfway backed up by USDC, I believe. And the other one, the USDT or UST, is Luna. So those pools, the stabilizing pools, for some reason they decide to admin key them or don't support them. That's also gonna rug basically. They die. So you don't want to take any risk with stable coins. You want to get a coin, you know, whatever you get it for free. You want to have a coin. Any ERC20 probably better than the stable coin ERC20. So I go with Hex. Hex will work. The front ends will work. Everything will work.
So you say the stable coins are unstable?
There's not a stabilized on Pulse chain. So there will be a stable coin. USDL will be backed up supposedly. That's what I heard. But I'll believe when I see.
But I agree. Do you think that USDC will not be copied over to the Pulse chain, or do we think it'll be a lower value, or just no copies at all?
The ticker will copy over.
Yeah.
But then this admin keys.
I mean, the value. Yeah. The value. Yeah.
Well, the value, nothing of the value. You're getting zero. The whole chain worth zero. Okay. At the moment of launch, you want to have a bridge. Is at launch purposefully, so any kind of swaps with your ratios. So you're just swapping Pokemon cards, like bottle caps.
The stable coins, guys, at launch, the stable coins are going to be the very, very obvious canary in the coal mine to keep our eyes on. That if anybody is going to pull the admin keys out, it's going to be like teams like USDC, and they're just going to freeze those assets on the Pulse chain, and you won't be able to trade them at all, essentially making them completely worthless and no point in holding them for a copy.
I just have there's two. I do have a buddy who's worried about ETH prices and whatever, and so I mentioned that he can buy USDC and then use that to buy Hex and all this other stuff, but I don't want him to sit with a bag of USDC before the fork, right? I mean,
or ETH,
right,
or
ETH, not ETH. Of course, not ETH, but also USDC is probably a bad choice. I mean, just any ERC20 would be better than a stable, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, he's trying to be safe, but he's going to end up getting like a no or low copy of that stable, and possibly. The point is we don't know, so assume the worst, kind of.
It is difficult to know, but like place yourself in the shoes of the team at USDC Circle, whatever it is. Like they're going to be aware of what's happening. They're going to watch it occur. They're going to know all about it. What's the point in them, not freezing all of the copy tokens? The most sensible and safest thing that they could do, if the option is there to use those admin keys and to freeze all of those tokens, is to simply do that. Just nuke it and not have it as part of the equation. It safely keeps their coin, their stable coin, operating exactly the way that it was the day before the fork. It's going to operate exactly the same the day after the fork, and they're not affected by Pulse Chain because there is no potential dilution or counterfeit or whatever you might want to call it, where they all of a sudden have to attribute value to their tokens on a new chain. You would simply use your admin keys and stop it. It's the most likely thing to do. But it's never occurred before, so we can't say that with absolute certainty. However, holding that as a copied token makes very little logical sense, given that that's the most likely scenario to occur.
Thanks.
So just a quick question. In terms of, owners of these tokens we're talking about that would be copied across, what's their gain, or what do they benefit? For them
you mean us, the owners?
Not us, but the project itself, the owners, the founders or whatever, what will be their gain or benefit for copying over their tokens to Pulse Chain? The reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of them will block it.
It's different for different projects. It depends on the projects. It's different for different projects, but there's clearly an advantage for projects that have been struggling to operate at a high efficiency on Ethereum because of gas fees, etc. So if you've been trying to run, a token like Hex, for example, and the end staking fees have been problematic for your users, now somebody offers you up the option of coming across to a new chain where that may be far more efficient and cheaper for your users. There's your gain, if that's what you want to call it. So for some projects, it could be very, very advantageous to come across and increase the operability of your token on a new chain. Faster,
for any project. Any project, when you swap, you're getting coins because you have to spend ETH fees. So you could have had more hacks or more of anything.
No, it doesn't necessarily apply to any project. There are other projects that don't necessarily suffer the same sort of issue. Oracle networks, for example, may not have such an issue. Whether or not people are swapping in and out of your token, that's outside of the scope of the project maker in some cases. It's got nothing to do with you whether people want to swap out of your token and it costs them too much. That's a trader's problem. So that might not be an issue for them.
Why would still want the copy though? I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't want it. There's no detriment, right?
Well, exactly, and we don't know whether, like, to say that they don't want it. I mean, some project teams might just leave it, and it can lay there dormant on a chain for the next 10 years, and they don't even care about it.
Right.
It has
Yeah, it's great. I mean,
them, essentially.
I mean, they're going to get a copy anyway. If they want to claim it, then fine. Yeah.
I mean, there's benefits from both perspectives. If you look at the perspective from the project that are being copied over, then the explanation that you just heard is very valid. But then you have the perspective of the founders. They want people to get the copies, so it intensifies adoption.
I just want to let everybody know, whoever is
Ethan
still waiting.
USDC is, special.
Go ahead.
They're unique. Yeah.
And there's also
Whoever's still waiting.
There's looking a gift horse in the mouth too. I mean, for project founders, for people that have large bags, big whales in these projects, they might not think that it's going to have any initial value over on Pulse Chain, but if they can see the dynamics that are involved, they can understand that there is a future potential for Pulse to be a good, successful chain, then inherently they could see that there's going to be value in those tokens that are copied for free with nothing to do with them. It's just being basically given to them on a plate, and you're looking a gift horse in the mouth if you don't just hold them for a certain amount of time, look at it down the line and go, shit, I just made a shitload of gains because they now have value over on Pulse Chain. So, why would you wreck yourself for no reason? It will be very interesting to see who wants to play along on our nice new chain.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm not going to do anything. I've got some ERC tokens already in my MetaMask. I'm just going to leave it as it is, and if it has posed value, then so be it. But I'm not going to go and start buying stable coins and all that stuff to get the profit and gain. I'm just going to see what my ERC tokens will be worth if they are when the time comes. And there's a lot of shit coins that are ERC tokens as well, ERC20 tokens, that if they hold value, when the copies happens, then I'll just swap it PLS. I'll just wait and see.
I think Hex would be worth more than any other ERC coin, which is my opinion.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Look, this God Whale, he had 400,000 Ethereum from Genesis wallet initially, and he already spent 200,000 of it into Hex and Pulse Chain. You can clearly see it. So he's number 2. So he didn't hesitate. He doesn't want to hold Ethereum, a lot of Ethereum at the fork. It looks like he's waiting to pump Hex, get more Hex right before the fork.
I think it's right that Godwill just exchanged was it his ETH to USDC for the just before this huge dip in Ethereum. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did that. You got 3% of all the PulseX. But that's his wallet, Genesis Ethereum wallet. So he held the Ethereum and only started selling it for Hex. All this time, like about 1,200 days, he held it. He started buying Hex, not so much adoption amplifier, it's just straight up buying Hex, 100 Ethereum at a time, boom, 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 800, 900, more Ethereum.
Did you say 3%? Sorry, did you say the Godwell's position is about 3% of the current sacrifice for PLSX?
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Well, that's one wallet. Let me see. See, the top one is not Godwell, as far as I'm aware.
No, do we assume that was Overwatch? I'm pretty sure that was Overwatch, wasn't it?
Overwatch. Yeah. I think. Godwell is pumping hex. Well, he's not dumping hex. And he's got a lot of liquid hex now. The stakes came out. 2-year stakes came out. And he was buying. I mean, I don't know how he timed the dip right here, but he was buying hex. Let's see. On the dip, like on the. Well, that's a good. Like, this is a Friday the 13th COVID dip. Right here is buying 500 Ethereum into hex. Instead of using adoption amplifier, he's just buying it on Uniswap. D1, pumping the price right after the. Right here. This is Godwell pump right here, 10x pump. Well, depends from where you look at it. But right start. This Godwell candle. There's some more. Boom, boom. By May, it was already stupid. So that's a good dip. It's not the January 5th. It's not the ultimate. I've seen some, not many, but got that. Because obviously, like, adoption amplified, the less Ethereum went in, the more hex per Ethereum you got. Which was like almost as high as 2 million hex for $150 Ethereum. 2 million hex for $150. Good deal. But not many got that one.
Take me
Like,
back to them days.
like a week.
Take me back, please.
The good old days.
Well, right now, like, you're gonna Pulse sacrifice. Many missed out on Pulse, they feel, so they're doing a lot more PulseX sacrifice. And so, because they're planning on swapping on Pulse or whatever, so just like right now, like, you probably think later that you should have sacrificed more. Because even if you look at, like, Ethereum launch, is Ethereum launch, so the dip is 42 cents, the lowest Ethereum went. The Godwell, so you were getting, when you're doing a Ethereum sacrifice, you'll call it ICO, IDO, you're getting about, it's elite, the number is elite, like 1,337 for 1 Bitcoin. So you're getting in Bitcoin, and that was July 30th. On this time, like, Bitcoin was $150, a little more. Basically, $150 Bitcoin on this dip, the bear market. Ethereum launched in the bear market. So you want to launch in the bear market. So the longer we wait, if you launch later, is better. You can accumulate more hex or ERC20s or whatever, make more plans. And what I'm trying to say is, the Godwell paid, 1 Bitcoin, assuming he had Bitcoin from here, but although he said on Twitter, the Godwell himself said that he got Bitcoin was $30. But here's a Bitcoin, so you already made money on Bitcoin after this pump. So if he bought it here at 250, he spent $75,000 for that 400,000 Ethereum. He bought about Ethereum at 18 cents. And so when Ethereum launched, even when it dumped 89%, 88%, the floor price was 42 cents, which is at least 2x what he paid for Ethereum ICO. So even though it dumped,
what a buy! I mean, Jesus, it's amazing.
So what I'm saying is, Pulse Chain, if you got 10,000 for $1, everybody's saying, oh yeah, some plebs gonna be selling, everybody's gonna dump. Well, you may dump, but it's up to the market maker, PulseX, to the liquidity to set the initial price. And so you may dump, but the floor might still be at least 2x than the first 5 days of the sacrifice. Like, you may dump, but the sacrifice is quite likely and probably definitely was the best price you ever could have gotten PulseX for, even if it dumps 80%. So I'm just showing an example, like, Ethereum, because PulseX and Pulse is like Ethereum, same, like you can do say the same for Pulse itself. And then furthermore, over 95% of Pulse is not for sale by the OA, plus the other 90% of the remainder or so is the top wallets. Most of that is Ethereum Genesis wallets that never sold Ethereum for nothing but Hex and pretty much, Pulse and all that. So who's going to be dumping? It ain't going to be the big ones. So, you probably wish you sucker. Like, even right now at 240 for 10,000, 250 for 10,000, it's probably better than the floor price, even if it dumps 80%. Just the perspective.
Yeah, I agree. It's still a good buy to sacrifice at this stage. It's still a very good buy. It's just a 1.5x.
It's like I was saying earlier, you got to look at this with like a 5 to 10 year long perspective or longer.
Well, even if you just want to sell, I mean, that's why the dump is coming. Obviously, a lot of people in Ethereum, they got it and they sold it, not the God whale, at least not the wallet that from it came. The 400,000 he didn't sell, like these plebs right here. And so there'll be people selling, right? So it's just up to you, because the next thing it does, this 100x, not 100x, right? 50x, and then by the time you list it on Coinbase, it's 100x already. By the time anything lists anywhere, by the time people hear about it, it's already 100x. There's 1,000x right here. So this is Ethereum. So it's up and to the right, There's Hex. Hex looks like Ethereum as well. Yes, there's a dump, but see, Hex was a prolonged whole year adoption amplifier, so anybody, they were just adoption amplifying and just dumping, basically. They were just adoption amplifying and dumping. There's all the FUD. But I don't know, there's not going to be any FUD for Pulse Chain launch. Quite the opposite. So good luck with the dump.
I don't think there'll be any cheap Pulse Chain at the launch.
But yeah, what do you think we launch for Pulse Chain?
Definitely not cheap Pulse Chain. Richard himself has said he doesn't want any cheap Hex or cheap Pulse. PulseX is the DEX that Richard creating. I mean, you can say he's the market maker. I mean, you could say whatever you want, but on a V2 Uniswap, he pioneered that, right? So, and the God Whale and whoever participated and all that. So, most volume at some point was Ethereum Hex.
Yeah, Hex made Uniswap popular, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and so now it's improving. It's gonna be good either way, and the Ethereum Hex is not gonna dump or whatever. You got people staked out, like the biggest people, the most Hex is staked out, like, and then any Hex that's not staked out, the only APY, if there's no new stakes going in, that means the APY will be higher on ETH. And the bigger ones don't really care about the GUI, the gas. So it's not going anywhere. It's designed, people still staking 5555. Like, there's no way it's going anywhere.
You don't see that standard sort of angle where people do think that there'll be a lot of buyers prior to the fork of Hex, and it's, you know, looking like it would most likely pump it a fair bit. But once they've got that copy, they never really wanted to hold that liquid Hex. I know there's a lot of stakers still out there, but there's still a lot of liquid Hex too. And they'll simply sell out of those bags and then move themselves over to the Pulse chain with their copies. Cheaper staking, etc., etc.
How do you sell?
You don't see that drop?
How do you sell? The easiest way to sell EHEX into PHEX, you have to go to the PulseX, bridge it in, and what Richard said is to pair them up in liquidity pools. So if you're just selling, you'd be using those liquidity pools that somebody is going to be benefiting from you selling. And
yeah,
the other people is
they're going to want their initial, like, they're just going to want that quick little investment back though, you know? Like some people who, you know, smaller players, not big whales and stuff, just dropping in a couple of grand here and there. But the idea will be that as soon as they know that the fork has been complete and they've got their copies, that they can then sell back and get their money back in a hurry, that's all. Causing that sort of drop in EHEX. I think a lot of people are sort of... Game theory is that's a likely scenario.
Market likes to do the opposite of what the majority thinks.
Oh yeah, and it may not be a massive swing, but I can see a high likelihood of the Ethereum hex price going down post fork. I think.
Knows.
Quick little spike up and a quick little spike down sort of thing. Maybe not, but.
Well, the picture kind of changed is that the liquidity pool in the USDC on the V3 added support, so I don't know. They can dump it. All the little plebs, they ain't gonna dump the price, and so the ones that are listening to Richard, they're gonna bridge it in and provide liquidity rather, so they can gain more other tokens instead of giving up tokens. Losing tokens. I'm sure they'll be selling, but I wouldn't. It's not like a move. Nobody's gonna be moving. It's not gonna be most users volume-wise. T shareholders. First of all, T shareholders cannot just move, but liquid hex holders, most of liquid hex will not just move to PulseX in a bad way. It's going to move there in a good way, in a way that's by design, by paired liquidity providing rather than just dumping it there. Because what you end up, if you just keep dumping, if you keep buying PHEX and staking it, the more you stake PHEX, the APY goes down. Like, it's a balance. It's going to keep that balance. So eventually, and the big whales, they're not going to make any drastic moves, I don't think. You're already getting a copy, doubled up, what else do you need?
All the big whales will not want to see a cheap EHEX on Ethereum. And even Richard said he doesn't want to see any cheap hex anywhere. So,
the plebs are gonna dump, but by the end of the day, the bigger players are gonna buy up everything that they dump.
yeah.
I got some limit orders set right now in case this D01 dumps on Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
That's from that Twitter, tweet that he put out.
Well, that's not proven to be D01. His number about half of what D01 has coming out, but the date lines up. And he deleted a tweet, and I saw somebody, either pretending to be him or be him, on a Hex trading channel earlier today, maybe 12 hours ago, like some time ago. But he was saying that his friend got to his Twitter or something, and that tweet is deleted now.
Wait, you put your limit was 15 cents? Sorry. You don't have to say sorry.
10-cent hex.
I don't know
No,
about
it's
10 cents.
I think I'm lagging, man. Sorry.
Yeah, what was the question? I don't know.
So
I was
going
gonna
to
ask
what your limit order was. Yeah. Sorry, Kismet.
All right. So I was gonna say, how were you gonna make me feel more Seifu?
Wait, the Genesis. I'm gonna show you the guy, the Genesis guy. Or a couple of them are in, and they didn't think twice, spending half of their Ethereum, like 200,000 Ethereum on Hex and Pulse chain. Like they didn't touch Ethereum for 2,000 days until they use it for Hex and Pulse chain. So you should be going. If you haven't gone all in, you should be going all in. Not financially. They went half in. There's people half in, like, and you can see it's real. Like it's not some Elon on TV telling you he bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's on chain.
That makes this kind of data so much more bullish. It really is.
That is super bullish. Super bullish, that information.
It's not some promises from Elon, Dogecoin to Mars, shitcoin here and there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a little bit speculation.
You basically study behavior instead of studying words.
How about studying facts instead of fucking tweets? Sounds really good.
Yeah.
You guys should get a house.
It doesn't mean anything.
Chuck it on a.
I mean, those whales didn't say anything about. You guys don't know that those whales are gonna do anything with those ETH in terms of providing liquidity. Just kind of speculating. I mean.
But they've put their money where their thoughts are. They've shifted tokens that they didn't otherwise shift for any other reason. And then all of a sudden, when these opportunities come along, they've jumped at those opportunities, is what it says.
He did not sell Ethereum. He bought Hex. He was buying Hex every day for a year. And the pump. This is him pumping. His green candles is this guy. Like so, So he's not, instead of keeping Ethereum, he's swapping it for Hex. 2020, recently. I don't care if it's Richard himself. I don't care who it is. The behavior what matters. Like it's a benevolent whale, and there's several.
Oh, so they're pumping Hex?
Yeah, pumping Hex. Pumping by buying Hex. You gotta buy it to pump. You gotta spend the dough, the money, if you have it. They're not dumping
patient.
it.
They're so patient with their ETH, and this is their move. It says something.
It could have been anything else, but it's not anything else. It's right here. It's interesting.
Yeah,
they're not buying ADA.
The historical behavior speaks louder than words. The actions speak much louder than words.
You can see D01 is dumping. You could see that double wrapped Bitcoin guy was buying Bitcoin all-time highs and selling Hex on the dip. So he's like 40% down on Bitcoin. He got Hex into he's out of Hex. He all wrapped into Bitcoin, and he was sending it to Coinbase, and so he should be at least 40% down, and plus 40% taxes. So he left his 20% value at this point. He's as if he just kept Hex and Hex dumped 80%. That's what he's left with. That's the play. And this whale is doing the opposite. So I follow these guys.
He got into Rep BTC. What was the price at, man? Was it above 50K? I'm pretty sure it was above 50K.
Way over 50. He started at 60. Like he was literally just buying Bitcoin all-time highs and dumping Hex on the dips. He got good sales up there on Hex on highs. He was selling throughout. It didn't seem like matter. He was just selling it throughout. right into wrap Bitcoin and sending it to Coinbase. He's completely out of Hex. Except now this D01, this stake is coming out. 100 million? What is it? 50 million. But now there is a lot more support. Yeah. Well, some profit, some people, it doesn't matter profit or not. The behavior is that, like, why kill the printer, right? Like, he knows it works. Why kill the printer? Like, we can go to Home Depot, Office Depot, and you have a choice. You can buy an Epson printer. You know, you can buy you get the paper. You know, or you can just buy the paper or the printer. Basically, I don't know.
Maybe he just
you know what I
liked
mean,
himself,
right?
dude. Maybe he just wanted. That was when all the hype was that BTC was going to 100K. Maybe he just wanted to double his money real quick and then get back into X.
Oh, but didn't you buy 55? Is it?
Yeah, he was selling Hex and then getting into Rep BTC at 50 or 55, whatever. But the thing is that was around that time where everybody was expecting BTC to get to 100K.
Well, I can tell you why, because he didn't pay anything for it. His cost basis was 0. BTC Maxi. It was all free claim. He didn't put anything in the adoption. It was literally 0. Like, look. It's all it's these 1, 2, 3.
Everyone. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Richard and his team.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, this is the BTC dumper. I mean, the Hex dumper into BTC. All of it is free claim. 5 times he claimed. He's a BTC whale at the time.
Oh, I'm doing the same. X for BTC all day.
Hex for BTC.
Yeah, don't X for BTC.
BTC is on a dip. I mean, you could. I'm shorting your BTC. This is how I have BTC right here. Look, it's my bitch. But don't do this. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been around for a
They're
lot
short.
longer.
Leverage shorts, don't do it. 800%, 1300%.
Yeah, move that up to 100.
Those are shorts. They just the coin margin futures. So I'm getting more coin without having to buy it, basically. But it's worth shit. I wish I could long Hex. If I could long Hex, then it's like no tomorrow. They're gonna do this whole, like, perverting, in my opinion, all this Hex wrap staking and trading the Hex stakes and all these derivatives. Basically, they're creating. It's almost like that housing bubble in 08. So I hope those that do get wrecked, hopefully it helps those who stick to the original contract.
Yeah, that looks very complicated, all those Hex trading stakes, and it's just very complicated, and we don't have any track record. It's all new. So I'll be sitting out on the sidelines with my popcorn, just watching what's happening.
Yeah, let somebody else be the guinea pig. It's like when Windows, Windows ME or Windows Vista came out. I sat on the sidelines, just watching other people get wrecked on that.
Yeah, I watched. See this guy named Crypto Face. He's he does margin trading. He'll do like 10 million, $20 million longs and shorts. He's nuts. I've seen him make $2 million a day just shorting Bitcoin and ETH. It's crazy.
Maybe no Crypto Face. He's a pleb. But I have 2 of his wallets right here. You want to see his wallet? Right here. I don't need to do that to get that much. So I have 2 of his wallets somewhere saved. He doxed them.
Well,
on
you
a live
had the.
stream.
Oh, okay.
Wait, 2 of his wallets? What do
Yeah.
you mean?
I played his stupid. I don't know what you're talking about him, but I played his bingo thing. I just loaded like 6 at the same time, different names. So I have 6 more chances, but I haven't won yet. Just different browsers, 2 on VPN, and the device. All like 5 on one computer, 4 on one computer, and 2 more devices. Because he like sends the pot, like it's a better chance to win. It's the only fun way to play it.
You think he's legit?
What do you mean? Like he gives away the Bitcoin? Yeah, I mean, it's not much. He gives away like a tiny bit. Like it's all crap. Like it's all just.
No, it's short.
He doesn't like. I mean. Well, I mean, shorts and the trades he's doing, yeah, the real trades.
No, so he's not like sponsored by exchanges.
And just like saw his videos by all this. I don't know what you're talking about him, but you can go and like, see like there was actually one video where it says it's the time is now. His title. It's like he went to start mining Ethereum, Bitcoin. It was on a dip right after the crash and. Coming up in early 2019 is all like that's time to mine. So like he got a lot of it from mining it,
Oh, he got lucky then on his timing, or?
I don't know, got lucky. I mean, he's done the research. I mean, the guy been in it for a while. It's about time in the market, so he can afford now timing the market. Plus, he's been in there for a while. Like I'm sure he knows how to trade, and that's why he's doing it. But win or lose, but it's he's doing his thing. The guy's doing his thing. I'm more excited about Hex and this NASCAR, the Daytona 500 coming up. Hex can put in $600,000 into getting a car and a team and the whole Hex thing. That's gonna bring some, maybe some bias. We'll see some candles.
Yeah, a lot of eyeballs coming.
What other community could do something like that within 5 days?
Yeah, the shitdog coiners, they're not doing any of that. Like even Elon is not doing that. Like Elon just kind of taunting McDonald's, saying if you guys accept dog shit, then I'll do something. He said, I forgot what he said. But he's just kind of like teasing everybody. Everybody's just kind of blue balling around him.
Yeah.
We need to get some Hex babes out of there. I mean, to be present.
In the Hex match.
The NFTs, like I don't like NFTs, but I have this Hex toys, and one of them, like I bought it, and then it went up. Now it's like it was 0.06 ETH, and now it's went up 10x now. The live stream Richard Hart NFT. 10x in ETH. It went from like 0.06 to 0.6. And ETH dumped, but not 10x. I mean, it's higher in ETH value. So the only ones I have is Hex Toys. I have a couple of those. I'll get some more of those. Those are real things that are coming up. The Hex.Toys is the only NFTs that I would even suggest getting. And I don't ever bought any NFTs before. You get a physical toy, apparently. I'll believe when I see it, but that's what the guy said.
Cool. Do you think there's a possibility that these sacrifices, do you think it's a good rate to sacrifice now, or do you think on launch you could potentially get the close to day one prices for the coins on mainnet?
Well, whatever you do, there's unknowns. There's unknowns, right? So, DCA, whatever you do, you do dollar cost average. So if you already sacrifice some, like a third of your whatever you're planning on investing, then just wait. It's now 2.5 times more expensive, but it might still be, 2 or 5x over the floor, or 10x less than the launch.
To be honest, I think the current rate now it's not, you're not going to get this current rate even at launch. I don't think.
Oh, definitely not at launch. The initial rate should be higher than the stack price. But like even if it dumps, I mean, just like Ethereum when it dumped to 42 cents, people paid like 18 cents for it. So
18 cents.
What did it launch at?
I think it was like $1. Let me check.
It was 31 or 32 cents. I thought it was 32 and launched at 70 cents or something. So it was only like.
I can check it on not on the chart, but like actual. I'm pretty sure it was. I know it was lead 1,337 Ethereum for one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin was like $250, and so it was about 18 cents Ethereum basically.
Did you manage to get
18
in?
cents.
Did you manage to get in?
No, I did not get. I'm not the Ethereum Genesis guy. That's what.
Okay.
But this guy is right here, the guy whale.
Do you think he made Hex?
He made Hex pump.
No, I mean he had the idea behind the token.
Oh, the guy whale? No. Go ask him on Twitter.
What?
That's his Twitter.
People don't lie.
The real God whale. Well, this is the real one. This is the proof. And he gave 100 ETH to the documentary as well. And he sent 7777 hex to Matty Allen to prove that he's God whale. He sent it from this wallet. You can look.
Oh yeah.
This is the real God whale.
I mean, there's no faking that, but I mean, there's no telling if he made Hex himself. He's just
you have a good point. Anything is possible, honestly.
Yeah, he could be pumping his own coin with all those ETH to get, just to double his bags. Why not? How many people see that and FOMO?
Hey, do you know how many Ethereum Genesis wallets there actually was?
No, I don't know, just like the numbers. Like, I do the research. I just search on the internet and find information.
What are you guys speculating, that the God whale created Hex?
No.
No, we're not really speculating.
I
We're just
will.
saying like anything's possible.
Well, Richard Hart created Hex. The God Whale. Yeah. If you look at the God Whale's wallet, you're right. He's got Ethereum from the Genesis block, and if you've listened to Richard for a while, you know that he absolutely despised Ethereum. So it's not Richard, you know, the God Whale's not Richard. So yeah, the God Whale, unless they have some dealings behind the scenes that we don't know about, you know, he certainly did not create Hex.
Hey guys,
You don't know that it's not Richard, right? Because Richard was mining Bitcoin before Ethereum even existed.
Yeah, but Richard despises. He used to despise Ethereum. Richard used to be a Bitcoin maximalist. He absolutely hated Ethereum. He was talking shit
So
over it.
wouldn't you make your own coin to get rid of your ETH, knowing other people would FOMO seeing you buy into a different coin with that? I'm just speculating.
This makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. So Richard, so you're right. Richard used to mine Bitcoin. He was a Bitcoin maximalist basically. And when Ethereum came around, he used to talk shit on Ethereum. But like I said, the God Whale, he has coins from the Genesis block of Ethereum, meaning he was in on the Ethereum project from the get-go, right? So, and we know that Richard created Hex. So we know that, you know, the God Whale is not Richard. Unless there's something going on behind the scenes. You
like,
get what I'm saying?
Explained it to him. You already explained it to him many times. It just doesn't compute for him. Like 2 plus 2 is not possible.
Well,
Gigahertz.
Richard doesn't like NFTs, but we're gonna have him on Post.
Yeah,
that's the proof.
That's beside the point. Like again, if you think Richard for years was talking shit about Ethereum, but he had, you know, but he was part of the, you know, the Genesis, or he had coins from the Genesis block. I mean, that's just absurd, right?
He would have had to send his Bitcoin. He would have had to send his Bitcoin, a lot of his Bitcoin. He would have been a Bitcoin whale, send all his Bitcoin for Ethereum, and then hold Ethereum while fighting his own bags. Like, really?
Yeah, good points actually.
Those are good points. Have you
And
seen
that's not the evidence. Is not the case. On just go on YouTube, and the evidence is not there. Like, he did not have Ethereum. Like,
Yeah, the God Whale and Richard, not the same people, or not the same person. So they might be having dealings behind the scenes. Maybe the God Whale knows Richard personally, and they, you know, got in cahoots together, so to speak, behind the scenes to pump Hex. But the God Whales, that's just speculation. But the God Whale's not Richard, like 100%.
I think the God Whale could be Brock Pierce. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, it's not him.
Yes.
No?
He's
know
he's a fucking... Yeah,
no,
but it's not
no,
Brock
no
Pierce.
one
He's
knows
the
that.
EOS. He's the EOS guy, man. Like he's...
No, I know that he's the EOS guy, but let's just tell you what happened is that there's a Hexcan girl that has a YouTube channel, and she did an interview with Brock Pierce. Brock Pierce knows Richard since 2013, something like that. Richard interviewed him, he mentioned. And Brock Pierce, although he created EOS, but he's a venture capitalist and he invests all over, and for sure he was in the one big investor in Ethereum together too. So he could be just a hypothesis. I'm putting all that because in the interview the Hexcan girl did with him, he said that his team was watching closely the post-chain sacrifice and all that, and he knew about Hex. He used the term Hexperts regarding the community and all that. So he kind of know Richard's work very well. he has a lot of. He's one of. If you watch the McAfee interview with Richards too, they mention Brock Pierce, and probably Brock Pierce, according to John McAfee, who knew him well too, said he is one of the richest man in crypto. And so, just throwing it out, it could be him. It would not be surprise me that he's the God whale.
Yeah, I don't. I disagree completely. But I mean, first of all, he was part of the EOS project. I mean, he didn't create. He was one of the investors. Like the brain behind EOS is Dan Larimer, right? He's like the coder or the guy that came up, the mastermind, so to speak, behind it. Brock Pierce is like I'm not going to say he's a pedophile, but he had some pedophile accusations against him. He's like a deranged child actor turned eccentric billionaire or whatever the fuck he is. But yeah, I don't think he's the God whale.
Yo, Thor, do you have any theories yourself?
He's closer to the Mickey Mouse than the God whale.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I don't have any theories who the God whale is. I have no clue, but I'm pretty sure it's not Brock Pierce. He's a creepy ass motherfucker, and
no,
yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think one thing relates to another. The guy has a ton of money and could be, but it could be, you know, who it could be too. Roger Ver. He claimed hacks with his Bitcoin.
The Bitcoin Jesus.
Yeah,
I don't think it's Roger Ver either. But yeah,
it could not be.
I mean, who cares who it is? But yeah, I mean, again, he's had a contentious. It could be, but you know, Roger's had a contentious relationship with Richard as well over the years. Not to say that it's not great now or whatnot. You know, he had Hex listed on Bitcoin.com and whatnot for a while. But again, you know, I doubt it. I mean, it's fun speculating, but yeah, again, it could be someone Richard knows to pump the coin, like someone speculated here, maybe, but it's for sure not Richard. That's for damn sure. Just because of the fact that we could trace his coins back to the Genesis wallet. Like I said, if you've been following Richard for a while, you know he used to hate on Ethereum, like beyond belief. Like every chance that he got, he was talking shit about it. Like literally every fucking chance.
Yes, with that I agree for sure. I know. It's because one thing is for sure, there aren't a lot of Ethereum Genesis guys. There must be some, but not too much. And there is kind of the usual suspects of the market that are the kinds of one that do venture capital. They throw. I know that's very specific. The guy held the ETH too long and then very precisely did a move on Pulse or whatever, or Hex. But there aren't much venture capitalists that has the history of investing in everything. Although the guy, let's say the Brock Pierce, he did EOS, but EOS is just one business he did. It could be the main one perceived in the market, but he's the founder of Block One.
Yeah, you're right. He was part of that.
It's like
those were the guys behind.
Yeah,
Block
they
One
invest in everything.
Right. Well, Block One was basically the ones who executed the whole EOS project, right? So this is the thing. Like again, it was really Dan Larimer. He was the mastermind behind EOS. He also did what was it called? BitShares. Yeah, basically that was the first decentralized exchange or the attempt to do one. He was basically ahead of his time. He also did Steam It. You know, Dan Larimer is like a brilliant guy. If you've been around in space for a while, Like he used to have discussions with Satoshi Nakamoto back in the day on the bullet boards or whatnot. He actually, it's funny because you go back, like he had the premonition. I guess many people had, but he had discussions about the scaling problems that Bitcoin was going to have even long before that became an issue at all. I guess it was, the writing was on the wall really down the line. You could tell that as soon as you got more people participating that it would be a scaling issue. But regardless, he was still, ahead of his time, arguing about those technical issues. Anyways,
Yeah, I heard.
Dan Larimer, he was the brain. Like, he's like a fucking smart guy. He knows his shit. And I was banking on EOS. I actually thought EOS had huge potential and was going to, potentially be the ETH killer. Obviously now the proof's in the pudding. We've seen where this has gone. It's basically a ghost chain and it's shit. God knows why, but
Didn't Dan get backstabbed by somebody around him?
I don't know necessarily about that. Like, if you look at all of his projects, even though he's a smart dude, he doesn't see. That's the difference between Richard Hart and all these other motherfuckers, right? Is that Richard has like a deep understanding, not only like the space itself or the crypto space itself, and he also has a deep understanding of markets and of human psychology, and he's got the talent stack basically to create a successful project. And that's what these other guys are missing. They're brilliant on certain areas. Like I said, Dan is like a remarkable programmer. He's just incredibly smart guy. He's got the same attitude as Rich is, as far as like the politics behind this is, he's a libertarian kind of guy. He's for freedom and whatnot, but he doesn't have the full package to create a successful project. And if you look at all his projects, they've flopped, including EOS. So,
are you talking in terms of lacking in marketing?
Not only lacking in marketing, but
in terms of fundamentals,
system doesn't work, right? It didn't. Give me 1 second. I'm getting crazy messages here. I'm sorry. I'm at work, so I'm getting
no fundamentals. We need fundamentals. Go to fundamentals.
I agree with your point that Richard is like the closest to a complete package, man. Yeah.
And he can dance.
Yeah, he's absolutely he's on a different level, man. Like he and again, like if you look at Hex now, right? The proof's in the pudding. It's been out for 2 years and it's done remarkable, right? And now also he basically saw. Or not only that, he said that if we're going to have issues with Ethereum down the line, we're going to fork it. And that's exactly what he's doing with Pulse Chain. So he's got a vision. He understands, like I said, markets. He's got a deep understanding of markets. Like, there's a reason why he keeps calling the tops and bottoms, because he understands trading, even though he tells you not to, right? And he understands human psychology, and he's seen the success of the other ETH forks like Matic and Binance and whatnot, and he's taking all the good things that he sees in those projects and puts it into, and has put it into Pulse Chain and more, and he's clearly he's got some other cards up his sleeve for whatever he's going to do down the line with Pulse Chain or whatever else he's planning to do, right? A wallet or exchange or whatnot, right? Because you can imagine if we get an on and off ramp as far as fiat goes with this, dude, it's like we're talking taking over the world shit here. It's going to be exactly. It's going to be game over.
Watch this video.
Sorry, so you sound like you got some background, dude. Are you a dev at all, or you running a node or anything for Pulse Chain?
I'm sorry, I was checked out. Was that a question for me?
Yeah, sorry. And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, whatever. You sound like you got some background, that's all. I was just wondering if you were a dev at all, or validate a node or anything for Pulse Chain.
Oh, no, not at all. I just been around the space a long time. Like, I got into, I got into this crypto space back in 2013. So I've just been around for a while, and I used to listen to Richard long before he launched Hex, and you know, I was there with the launch of Hex and so on and so forth. So, and I've been working with other crypto projects, but yeah, no, I'm not a developer.
That's cool. Sorry, I just didn't recognize your handle. You sounded knowledgeable. Thanks, man.
Oh, it's all
It's
good.
in it for technology. A minute for technology.
Yeah, so Thor's right, and EOS is a good example as to why we need an OA for Pulse Chain. And I think Richard probably picked up on that, and he's implemented that security to the network.
Yeah, you know, Richard did bring up many times the amount that EOS made in terms of collecting money for their project. And he's definitely been looking through a microscope on that thing.
Because poor Dan, I think he just got overrun by the validators, because he made the protocol completely decentralized and no OA. So every time, let's say he saw a fault in the protocol and wanted to make changes, he could never get it through or past the validators, because they would constantly vote themselves in and override any sort of changes that were tried to be implemented. If we come to that situation with Pulse Chain, it's near impossible, because the OA has the switch to let's say worst case scenario, vote themselves in and get the process going if changes need to be implemented, and the validators are saying no, because of the OA holding the majority of the coins.
Really good point. It's something that gets me bullish as well with this project. It's like it's this concept that it's an ever-evolving ecosystem, the greater space of crypto in general. And as each iteration comes along, you know, we have the advantage of the history of other chains to see what works and what doesn't, what failed and what succeeded, and can take that on board and just, you know, launching now at the right time when all these other chains are showing some of their inconsistencies and lack of abilities and downtime, etc. And here we are. So bullish sometimes. And,
yeah, it's evolution built on evolution, and the thing is that we get to grab the mistakes and the positives from everything else and make like a super product here, you know.
And it's built on success as well. Like the concept to me that the billionaire guys are already there. He's not becoming a billionaire from this. He's already there. He's already installed himself into this ecosystem in a way where it's like it's semi-complete from the top down. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of foolish to think billionaires don't want more money. I mean, look at the richest man in the world. They just get richer and richer. They definitely want more money, in my opinion.
Rich on paper, unrealized. So is Elon, so is Bezos. If they were gonna cash out, go to zero.
Yeah, but who's gonna say no to something when they ask, or they try and buy something, you know? I don't think they're getting their checks bounced by any retailer.
I gotta go. I love these chats, guys, when it's a little bit more of the deeper cypherpunk and background stuff and all that sort of thing. Really appreciate it. Instead of just talking about how many X's and how do I sacrifice. Good.
Yeah.
Hey guys, is there any speculation on the staking Pulse to the validators about the APY? Do you think any range, about 20% or something? No one talks about this yet, maybe, right?
Well, you have
Well,
a
depends.
different things because each validator will give its own like a proposal to the delegators, and they will give their own like ROI or whatever payment they are going to give as a percentage to the delegators. It depends on what they want to do and how much profit they want to keep for themselves and they want to give to the delegators.
Look at it here. You can check it on testnet, and some of them pay 99%, others pay 50 or 66 or 69. You can test it on testnet, and you can see behaviors. And so the top validators earned only 7 pulse because there's not much going on, not much. It's not real net, main net, but it's still earning. And if 50% of the top ones.
But do you think at mainnet they would put this type of APY? Maybe less, right? 20% would be very good. Or
Well, this isn't
like hacks.
This isn't APY. It depends on your share. So say if I go and I want to stake.
Revenue share, of course.
So you see my actual, with a top value 0.008 is 100 pulse. I think all I have in this one is just 100 on pulse. Let me check. Yeah. So I guess I'm delegating already somewhere here. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I dumped some pulse. Let's see how much is pulse on the test.
Fuck.
One pulse is $2,800 on the test.
Let's fucking go.
And one hex is $2.
That's promising.
Oh yeah. So does anybody know if PulseX will have any like liquidity pools, sort of like the syrup pools for that other protocol?
That's how you securely perform a transaction. Is the hardware wallet, even if it's on a testnet. Bought some fake hacks. Just testnet, you can just make a new wallet. But if you had anything on September 14th, your wallet will have the same points that you had on September 14th on the testnet. I'm staking hex on the testnet too. I made a new stake on testnet. Should be almost done, 90% done.
think that BHEX would launch at 0, but in the next ticker would be the same price on
You're breaking up there for a second. The price, the ratios will be preserved. So whatever the block height the fork occurs. So if it was like, say, it was one link was 50 hex or something, then one P link will be 50 P hex. You know, the ratios are preserved. The only one adjusted is the pulse. Because the ETH has to be diluted, so it's whatever, however much pulse you get, 1.2 million x more. So that's the one that's adjusted by the fixer bot by pulling ERC20s. You have to understand how it works, but the ratios are preserved. So if you had some link or whatever, or a dog shit, sheep, whatever, and then you, at the moment of fork, that's exactly how much hex you would expect to get on the other side. And then from then on, it's, you know, just ratio speculations until the bridge that brings in the USD value. Once Pulse token has a USD value or ETH value and thus USD value, that moment all other PRC20s momentarily get USD value, because everything is ratioed and Uniswap to each other.
Okay, but the bot will, when he mentions buying on Uniswap, he's really buying on the Ethereum chain, or he's buying with PLS on the Pulse chain, on the forks of Uniswap, the liquidity.
Yeah, the bot is gonna mint. The bot is gonna mint. The bot is gonna mint enough PLS in addition to. It'll be a very tiny amount, because remember it's 1.2 million X. So he really needs. He'll just go in the pool and buy the ERC20s, and the pools will be left is more pulse, you know. So, but a fraction of PRC20, 1.2 millionth of whatever V2 PRC20, ERC20 was there previously. But that's all done only on the Pulse chain. Nothing touches the Ethereum side.
But that he will buy with the bridge. The bot will bridge, but the bot would bridge PLS to.
No, the bot is not bridging anything. The bot is just gonna set up liquidity pools on PulseX.
But the harvest, where does it happen, this harvest? From where?
From V2 Uniswap pools, V1, V2.
Okay, okay, from the forks, right? Forks, no, sorry, the copies of V2 and V1, V3, I don't know.
Yeah, from the copies of the pools. From the spreadsheets. It's all just spreadsheets. There is no coins.
Okay, now I got it. And the last question, when he mentions minting, that the bot will mint PLS to do this buying, this is on top of the total supply, or it comes from the total supply, like 150 trillion, then 2.5% of that, more or less, and then this percentage that will be used to buy the PRC 20s, but or is 150, let's say the supply is 150 trillion regarding the sacrifice. From where the bot is minting extra plus to 5%, 2.5, or it comes from the total supply?
It's the bot, like anything, it creates it out of thin air, out of nothing. That's what minting means. Does that make sense?
Okay, I didn't understood in this aspect that if the bot would interact with a pulse genesis. Yeah, well, not much the way I was understanding, but well. What I mean is that, let's say the sacrifice happened, and the multiplier of the sacrifice will generate a total supply of, let's say, 150 trillion. Then the bot will mint more new tokens apart from these 150 trillion.
It has to, yeah. What is it? You want him to take somebody else's token?
No, okay, I thought let's say the original pulse address would interact with the bot to provide the bot a certain amount of pulse to do this job of implementing the liquidity pools and buying the PRCs and all that.
Well, you're sending coins to the sacrifice. You're sending the coins to the sacrifice address from which you should have no expectations of profit. So you cannot do that. And why would it? Why would anybody who sacrificed would wanna do that? You just wanna keep it to yourself. The bot can mint its own coins just enough to do the functional part, to adjust the ratios. It only needs, like, this is 1.2 million X. It really needs a fraction to mint. Like, it doesn't need to mint a lot. So you get, for $100 you get 1 million pulse, and there's only 120 million Ethereum in existence. So as if you spend only $12,000 to buy all of the Ethereum, but that's not the case. So it gets diluted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this part for sure. No, I just didn't know that the bot would mint extra. I thought that I understand the aspect of not expecting nothing from the work of others on that. I just thought it was like an inside part of the project that the bot would receive to operate a certain amount from some wallet from whoever it is, but I didn't know it was an extra mint apart from the total supply. But I understand that's not much. I don't know, if there was expected 150 trillion or 160 trillion, whatever, from the sacrifice, total sacrifice, and if the bot will mint an extra 2.5% or something, it's something like, I don't know, 6 or 7 trillion more, it's okay, and I understand that it will stay on the liquidity pool, all these tokens. I imagine.
That's a solution, though. Then I don't see any problems with it. It actually sounds genius.
Yeah, no, I don't see problems. Just to understand. But thanks, man. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, you know that the AA sent half the minted hex to the OA whenever anybody sacrificed or, you know, transformed your Ethereum hex for a year. In a proof of stake system, you want to have the biggest whale to ensure the security of the network. In itself, it doesn't have to delegate, but only
Alright,
when
stream,
it
I'm gonna
sees,
be I'm gonna be cutting it short here.
somebody's doing
Cutting it
harm
off
to the
here.
network,
So
you can then
make sure to like, subscribe,
delegate
and
its
follow the
pulse,
channel. I've got my
the-
video coming out probably tomorrow or the next day
If somebody,
of my
there's not a bigger whale that can harm to the network.
hex snowball
protection.
ladder strategy. Ladder snowball.
There's no- like,
I'll explain what
nobody-
it is.
if you were
and
the away,
how you can benefit
you
from it, even if
dumping
you can
the
only
coins gives you
put in an extra $100 a
no-
month.
nothing.
Even if you
You
can only
don't
do
gain
that,
anything.
this strategy will help you a
just
lot. So
ruin your own.
yeah. I
You're
will
just
see you
cutting
guys
a
tomorrow.
branch of
Peace.
the one you're sitting on. It's like Bezos is not gonna sell his stock. Elon is not gonna